Hello YouTube family, Mount Vernon Kid here again. Opinion Spot is back. How's everybody doing out there? Hope everybody's well on their end. One question. Who is this? I don't think anybody has to play Captain Obvious here to know that that is Arnold Schwarzenegger. One of the greatest action stars ever. One of the kings of action, in my opinion. And to celebrate the Expendables, which was, oh my god, let's just put it like that, great. Arnold makes a cameo in this movie, The Expendables, and we get to see Arnold, Sly, and Willis, three kings of action, work together on screen for the first time ever, one time only, and it delivered. Now, what do we also know about Arnold? He's pretty much the king of the one-liners as well. He's always come up with great lines, and he's always, over the 40-plus movies he's been in, many of them have been blockbusters. And that's what I'm here to give you guys. To celebrate, in celebration of Expendables, I'm going to give you this man's, my top 10 Schwarzenegger movies. Now, these movies are pretty much movies I can watch over and over again. So let's get to it, shall we? It's always great to see some action stars like Arnold, Mr. Schwarzenegger, go outside the box. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Basically, do something out of the genre of action, but still have a little bit of action in it. And that's comedy. And there have been some comedies that I love that Arnold has done that I like, but he's also know when to draw the line, unlike another fellow actor like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, for some reason, and I'll save that for another time. But basically, Arnold knows where to draw the line, and I'm going to give you two movies that are tied for 10 that are slash action, that are kind of action but a lot of comedy as well in it. And the first movie is the 1990 comedy movie, The Kindergarten Cop. I love The Kindergarten Cop. I love the chemistry that Arnold had with the children from start to finish. At first we see him as this gritty, over the walls, take no prisoners, need a shave, rocking that 5 o'clock shadow, beard detective Kimball in this movie. The great line, of course, "I'm the party pooper." Everybody loves that line. We get to see him as that, but then we get to see him open up, and he becomes a great character. You see his character develop with the kids. Character development, great stuff. And we get to see him basically show his comedic side as well. But this wasn't the first time he did this, but this is one of them. I really much enjoyed this movie. I love the fact where he beat up the father that was abusing his son. That was one of my favorite scenes. You hit the kid, now I hit you. It was great stuff. So yeah, this is one of my favorite movies, comedies of Arnold. Going on to another that's tied for 10, number 10, is The Last Action Hero. Last Action Hero is another one of my favorites, pretty much because of the fact that it pretty much sums up what, if I had a magic ticket and I can go into my favorite my favorite hero's world, I would do it too. And we get to see that. We get the character Austin O'Brien. That's the character. That's the little boy that played Danny in the movie. Has a magic ticket that is pretty much was given to his friend, and his friend gave it to him. Is basically Houdini's ticket. The great Houdini, and it's a magic ticket. And one day, Danny jumps into the world of Jack Slater, and he gets to experience his world. and we get to see the opposite. Once Slater comes into our world, everything is totally different. I really enjoyed this movie. This movie came out in 1993. I did see this in the movie theaters with my dad. Very much enjoyed this movie. It was very funny. Very funny. Great one-liners. We got to see Arnold make fun of himself in the movie, like how people mess up his name, can't pronounce it right, things like that. We got to see many cameos from Tina Turner playing the mayor. Sylvester Stallone was actually Arnold instead of him in Slater's world. Like, for example, there was a poster of Terminator 2. Who was the Terminator in that? Sylvester Stallone. It was great stuff. It was so funny. I really enjoyed it. The action was over the top but funny. It was very funny. Do I recommend it? Yeah, I can say that. Okay. Now moving on to more of what many of us love about Arnold is his action roles, right? Number 9 has to deal with pretty much what a lot of movies like Gamer, games like, remember this classic 1990 game Smash TV, a movie, another game like Manhunt, the Rockstar game. And the movie I'm talking about is The Running Man. 1987's The Running Man. This movie is, all those movies or games that I mentioned before come from this movie. This movie is pretty much based on the novel written by Stephen King in 1982, the same name, The Running Man. And I really love this movie. We got to see two former governors. Well, one is no longer governor, go at it, Jesse Ventura and Schwarzenegger. We got to see Arnold tackle great sports legends like Jim Brown. We got to see pretty much Arnold go at it in this movie. This movie took place, I guess, about the year 2017, I guess. And basically the whole world is in totalism chaos, basically. A lot of censorship and everything like that. But I really enjoyed the movie a lot. This is another movie I can watch over and over again. Don't get tired of it. Really good stuff, in my opinion. So yeah, The Running Man. Alright. Number 8, excuse me, is pretty much Arnold's comeback movie after the botch of crap that we got to see in 1997's Batman and Robin. Yes, I said it. I'm sorry. I know that leaves a bad taste in pretty much everybody's mouths, but yes, Arnold was in that. But this is also where he recovered from his heart surgery. But 2 years later, we got a pretty decent movie, in my opinion, that I loved, where he pretty much was the total opposite of many of his characters in many of his action roles. And that's 1999's End of Days, where Arnold, it was basically, let's put it like this, Arnold versus the devil. In this movie, Arnold plays a character of ex-retired cop known as Jericho Kane. And pretty much throughout the whole movie, he's not himself in this movie. He is pretty much, like I said, the total opposite. He is in a state of depression over the death of his wife and child that was killed by hitmen. But he works in an elite security operation, and he protects a guy played by Gabriel Burns. And then later on, he is possessed by Satan himself. I like movies like this where it deals with Satan and angels and things like that. It also could it also dealt with your faith, as well as this is also around the time of the big Y2K scare, as well. That's where the movie kind of takes place, 1999, getting ready to go into 2000. The Y2K scare we all thought was the whole world was just going to go black, and everything was going to start all over. We weren't going to even exist, things like that. But the movie really was great because we got to see like some of the people that he thought he knew, were devil worshippers, Satanists, and things like that. But it was really, really good in my opinion. I really enjoyed the movie. In my opinion, it was a great comeback movie for Mr. Schwarzenegger. And that's all I'm going to say about End of Days. Okay, moving on. We go to number 7. And number 7 brings us another great movie in my opinion. 1985's Commando. Yes. Commando is a great movie in my opinion. I love this movie. Arnold plays John Matrix in this movie, a former special ops colonel, and retired. He's in seclusion with his daughter, played by a young Alyssa Milano. Many of his squad members are being killed off, and there's also a plot twist. Eventually, the bad guys come after him. They kidnap his daughter. It's against time now for Arnold to get his daughter back. Many one-liners in this movie. Of course, the "I'll be back." You heard that in the movie. We got to hear Arnold say to one of the bad guys, "You're a funny guy, Sully. I like that. That's why I'm going to kill you last." Catches up to Sully, and he says he's holding Sully with one hand, and says, "Sully, you remember when I said I promised to kill you last?" "That's right, Matrix, you did." "I lied," and just drops him. Great stuff. Arnold pretty much performed probably 85% of his own stunts in this movie. We get to see Arnold basically lifting, firemen carrying a phone booth, swinging from things like Tarzan. Great stuff. Going all out, one-man army on pretty much a whole, you can say, Colombian army or whatever. Coming out pretty much with just a couple of bruises, and everybody else. The funniest scene was where the General Kirby says at the end, "Save any for us?" And what does Arnold say? "Just bodies." It's really good stuff. I recommend Commando. Great stuff. All right. And number 6 is pretty much another movie that I think pretty much was like another great movie for Arnold after was pretty much his movie, pretty much to let his fans know that, to kind of say to his fans, I'm sorry for doing another comedy like Junior. Like pretty much doing Junior. And this movie came out in 1996, and he was a U.S. Marshal, which pretty much got into what WITSEC and everything was about. And we got to see Arnold and the lovely, lovely Vanessa Williams co-star. He was his co-star, play in a movie called Eraser. Now, Eraser is a great movie, in my opinion. The special effects are great. We got to see a miniature version of a railgun, actually, in this movie. And I'll be back with part 2 of this, so hold on.